Hey traders. Well, it is an amazing morning. Markets are tanking. And what I'm seeing in the markets here this morning, the volumes just don't seem to be justifying the sell off. And I do think we're going to be going lower today. But volumes are extremely light, especially on the individual stocks. So that gives me a warning sign that there could be seller exhaustion setting in here. So just keep that in mind going forward here in your trading. You see where we're trading on these. We're just barely poking below the. I had to go back in time, of course, back to January of 2018, and this primary uptrend. We're right here, just on the verge of breaking down the 2018 uptrend, and this has been on a massive, fast decline. So you keep that in mind. We got these dual trend lines here, these dual breaks that we're just barely looking below right now, and in the after hour session. So just keep that in mind. Definitely a potential short squeeze scenario here going into the open. But I'll give you some reasons why I think that they're wanting prices a little bit lower. So that's why I'm thinking they're going to be coming down, probably holding the S&Ps and stuff down here near the lows, while a couple of the leader shot stocks lead to the downside today, and they hit their targets. And so I'll show you here in a minute what I'm talking about. Okay, in Qs. Right down here on the lows of the session. Well, let me go out in time here, and I'll show you what's really going on here. Really have a lot better picture here. You see these fib fans, this secondary. We are coming right into this fib fan zone. Ideally, this is where I would ideally like to consider that a significant low, but the S&Ps are already right into what I consider a supporting area, even though we are ticking a little bit below it this morning. So this is something I'm keeping on my watch going forward today, like as if we might be coming into some significant support in these markets. And if that's the case, we're looking probably another 2% lower. That'll give us about a 7% sell-off. And we're going to be coming into that support area here on the Qs today. So just keep that in mind going forward in your trading. Like I had mentioned, I am short Microsoft, just a small position. And so I'm just trying to give you an idea. If you're already short, running to the bank and trying to cash out your positions, there does look like a little bit more room to the downside first thing this morning. So ringing the register too early is leaving money on the table, in my opinion. Okay, on the IWM, we're coming right down into fib fans too. The relative weakness in the IWM, I'm really positive. We have an untested volume point of control. This is a yearly webs, and I do think we're going to be coming down into that zone here on the open today. So keep that one on your watch going forward here. And if I come in on a smaller time frame, actually no, that weekly wasn't showing it, was it? I'm sorry, I thought that was a 4 hour. Let's see here. Let me zoom that out a little bit here on the 4 hour. Sorry, I had the weekly up there. Okay, we've already gotten that yearly volume point of control. We've come down to that secondary. That's the 50% fib zone I had already drawn out. So we've already tagging where I considered a responsive bounce point on the Russell. So that's something to keep in mind going forward in our trading today. We might actually be hitting support on the Russell. So that's another one that we need to have in the back of our mind what's going on here. So I just might go ahead and ring the register on Microsoft right at the open today. Okay, let's see here. What do I want to do next? Okay, some of my volumes, my NASDAQ scan this morning. Boy, you're really getting some really big drops in some of these leaders on the leaderboard. It turns out that Apple would have probably been a better percent winner for the overnight session than Microsoft. I'm in Microsoft. But still, a win is a win. I'm happy with either one. But you got AMD, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla. Those are the three main leaders here, all taking it on the chin this morning. So let me go through those stocks real quick, and we'll talk about those. Okay, give me 1 second here. Sorry, I had to stop. I've got a runny nose, something horrible. What I'm seeing here on my AMD, we got that 50% fib fan line. We're right here trying to push lower on price on that going into the open. This is in my opinion, still a bullish chart on AMD. As long as we can get a closing price above that 50% fan, the dips are still buyable in my opinion, and for further upside in this one. So just keep that in mind. Why does it just do that all the time? And we do have an untested volume point of control, which would finish the pattern, the 39.22 area down here, if we were to really go into full-on bearish territory today. But the volumes this morning are really anemic, and I'm wondering if that's it's going to be really difficult to do that. So right now, just keep that in mind. I know the headlines really sound bad this morning, but in my opinion, that they do seem like there might be a little overblown reaction here with these. What they've been doing, the market makers have been spreading out the bid-ask spreads on this move down, and in so doing, jacking up the VIX. And at some point in time here, the VIX is going to start tightening up as the option. And then when the option makers start tightening up the bids, that's the opportunity for the longs to start coming back into the market. So basically, that's what's going on. The big firms, they're allowing those bid-ask spreads to spread out a little bit. With the computer algos, to spread out further, wider than normal. So just keep that in mind. What's going on here in these markets? There is some manipulation going on behind the scenes. Okay, what's going on here in Apple? I think we are going to get another solid hard test of this trend line today. That's quite kind of leaning that we're going to have a little sell-off at the open. So that would put us to 156 area, or to 256 area on Apple, if that were the case. So just keep this one on your watch. It looks like that they're trying to push prices down lower. So far this morning, no type of bids. But if that gives you, this chart right here gives you any indication that we're really close to that trend line, I really think that's the target they are trying to achieve on Apple. Microsoft's another one, which I think there's a target they're trying to achieve here. Okay. Actually, I think the target is actually achieved already. See that gray line there? That was my target for Microsoft, so we could actually start getting a bid. That's why I'm kind of leaning to think that I'm going to close my Microsoft on the open here. We do have dual untested volume point of controls right below us here, and they do like to fill those things. So just keep that in mind going forward here. The Apple has room, and we're really close to these untested volume point of controls. The two, those are monthly untested volume point of controls. So that does give you the indication that the markets might continue to the downside on the open for Apple and Microsoft. So that's, and we do have a Venom line right down here too, that similar, suggesting further downside on the open. So that's something to hang your hat on. And like I said on the NASDAQ, about a 7% decline would put the NASDAQ into support for today. So there's several things there suggesting that we're going to get continued selling pressure on the open. Okay, some things also happening with Tesla today. We are gapping. What is wrong with you? Okay. What we got going on here? This massive breakout for this big breakout move in Tesla. We are coming right into that. That gray line right there represents the breakout move for Tesla. So we are going to be coming in tagging at today. And right below that breakout, we have an untested volume point of control, weekly volume point of control. And those tend to get tested. So we're probably gonna overshoot it a little bit, that line. So these two areas to me represent what I consider a significant support area for today's session for Tesla going forward here. So just keep that in mind. Where Tesla's probably coming into some support areas, and then we have two more untested point of controls right below us, weekly volume point of controls below that. But yeah, it does look like Tesla might be coming into some responsive support as of today. So be careful on your short side going forward here. But yeah, these tend to be higher odds. If you initiate a short right at the open, that's a higher odds win rate, in my opinion, for today's session. So just keep that in mind that we have some setups here that you can get right out of the gate that look like they're going to be nice little paydays for some downside pressure, in my opinion. So there's a $10 potential here for Tesla just for the breakout move, which it wouldn't surprise me to have that filled before the market even opens. So keep that in mind. And then the 564 is and ultimately the target that I'm thinking the markets are trying to push for on Tesla going forward here. Okay, some of the volumes going on here this morning on the 24-hour trading ETFs. Still only 500,000 shares on SPY. It's like a little after 6 this morning. Really light volumes, relative volumes on this leg down in the markets. So keep that in mind. What's going on here? We're pushing out of the long-term bull uptrend, but just because we're doing it on this is like the first day we're pushing out. The bulls can come in a big way and support the trend if they decide to. So you're right here on the ledge, deciding whether or not the bulls are going to step up and support these markets at this time. So keep that in mind. These volumes suggest that there's you would think with the breakage of the primary trend that there would be some serious selling coming in this morning, but I just don't see that happening. So I'm wondering if a lot of traders are not believing in the headline, and actually this is a manufactured sell-off in this market, in my opinion, to reset for big money to come back in and reset their positioning at lower prices. So just keep that in mind. They do manipulate these markets for stuff like this, and these volumes are suggesting to me that this is the manufactured crisis that that's been overblown. So we'll see what happens in these markets. So, but the volumes are not supporting, in my opinion, these moves. So, okay, what's going on here on Boeing? We are coming into some targeted moves that I have set up here for Boeing. So just keep that in mind going forward in today's trading session. But I'm thinking they're ultimately they're trying to push it to the 163 area for Boeing, and we're $10 away from that. So just keep that in mind going forward in today's trading session. That does lend to think that we're going to have a little bit further downside pressure today. So I actually might even initiate some more a small Boeing short position myself. But that's kind of where I'm thinking price is trying to migrate here. We've only got 50,000 shares traded here. So, it's, I mean, you have to keep in mind here, whenever this light volumes here, it just takes a couple big buyers to step up. And buddy, this thing's just going to, it's going to turn around. It could turn around really quick in your face. So Boeing right here, right now, looks like it's an oversold. It's oversold here, in my opinion. But with the markets in turmoil like they are right now, this is something to keep on your watch here as a bounce candidate here at the 163 area, in my opinion. Okay, another one on the warning this morning. We are this swing low as we speak. The JP Morgan is marking below this swing low. So keep that in mind going forward here. We could find some responsive buying into open, trying to defend this swing low on JP Morgan. So that's another thing to hang your hat on here. We do have a monthly volume point of control that's untested below. So that's something to also consider going forward here. That those tend to backtest under the current market conditions, and so we are marking right here around this trend line area. Yeah, right here below the trend line area. So right through here is where we're marking as we speak in this market. So it's you know, something to keep in mind going forward here. Another warning sign here. We got our Bank of America. This consolidation area right here for Bank of America. As we speak, prices are marking the $21 area. So that would put us, that's going to put us down here below, given the bid and ask prices right now for Bank of America, we are actually what seems to be breaking out of this consolidation zone for Bank of America right here, right now, suggesting that we are going to get continued downside pressure in the banking sector today. So something to keep in mind, next target would be the 2023 area, and we're already marking below 21 here. So keep that in mind going forward here. It really looks like we're getting some serious downside pressure for the banks, even though it is on fairly light volume. So keep that in mind in your trading. We do have 100,000 shares. That is really, in the grand scheme of things, considering we're breaking a significant consolidation zone, you know, 100,000 shares is really little to nothing. But now we're into a very low conviction, low volume zone. This can move really fast into this zone right here. You see how it just rocketed up. There is little to no value to speak of supporting prices in this this area. We got this volume point of control right here, which can give us a little bit of support at the $20 range. But we start breaking $20, it's a fast trip all the way down to the $16, $17. Yeah, the $16, $17 area. So there's really very, very little support once we start breaking lower here. So something to keep on your back of your mind going forward in today's session.